Hi, it's Dave with another BookTube video. First of all, you may have noticed that I'm always like changing locations. It's because I've kind of redone my home office and it's pretty much where I want it to be. You can see my small bookshelf behind me. I mean, I know it's almost a requirement that if you're going to have a BookTube channel, you have books behind you. Actually, I just decided to put in my office. Some of the books that I want to read, these are actually books I've had for a long time, most of them I've read before, but I do want to kind of go back to some of these. So those are here. I don't do any reading in my office. I do my reading downstairs, and we have big bookshelves down there where I keep the majority of my books. And of course, as I've said before, I'm pretty much migrating to Kindle, or the Kindle app, I should say. So most of the books I bought of late are in the Kindle format, which is why the best I can do is bring up a picture of the book when I want to show you about or tell you about a book that I'm reading. So we'll kind of play around with the surroundings. I just wanted you to know what's going on in my life. So I want to talk about a book today that I really always liked. It was out quite a few years ago by Cal Newport. It's called A World Without Email. Now, Cal Newport is a prolific writer. He's got a new book out. Within the last year, he put a new book out, which I'll talk about in a future video. But I was working with a client. I work with a lot of clients on productivity issues. And I was working with a client about, the challenges of processing email. And I mentioned this book to him. So I went back and I kind of went over my notes. And I want to share some of the concepts of this book with you. If you haven't read it and you're interested in technology and productivity, this is a good book to read. So Cal Newport, if you don't know, is actually a computer science professor at Georgetown. But he writes a lot about digital technology and culture. The focus of this book is how, in his opinion, tools hurt our personal and professional goals or ability to achieve them. And he advocates for a more conscious view of the way we use technology. He says that modern communication patterns, especially using email, foster what he calls the hyperactive hive mind, which leads to constant interruptions and reduced productivity and ultimately making us unhappy. Now, he says email itself is not the issue, it's the chaotic workflow that it enables. And you probably have experienced that too, where email can be a huge distraction from the things that you want to get done. So he has said that we are now in a society that, everybody almost checks their email or their other communication tools every 6 minutes on average. Not sure where he gets that number, but that seems a little high to me, although there are people who I know literally live on email. And he says that this has become kind of a widespread phenomenon. Now, he compares that to how manufacturing has changed. Once upon a time, before the assembly line, everything was done by hand and slowly. But the assembly line happened. Everything was supposed to be done quickly. So he suggests that we focus on the process of information management. Now, he's not a Luddite. He advocates using tools like Trello or Asana to organize our tasks and our projects. He describes his system. He talks about, instead of having regular sit down meetings, we consider at work having stand up meeting, regular updates, eliminating the need for all the constant email exchanges. I mean, I know that to be fact. People can send an email, and they tend to overwrite an email. Whereas if we just have a meeting in the hallway or a quick sit down meeting, we can accomplish the same thing in just a couple of minutes. So anything we can do to replace the constant back and forth of emails or even Slack messages with more structured updates, he says, will help us. He advocates for, and I'm a big believer of this, of reducing your dependence on email. That's not to say you don't use email, but instead of checking it all the time throughout the day, check it twice a day, and process email on your own schedule, not on the schedule of others, by when they send in the email. So basically, he's saying shift your communications away from real-time tools to asynchronous systems so that you can manage the information flow coming at you when it's convenient for you and when it won't take you away from getting your important work done. Email, he says, is not going away, but it should become a secondary tool used sparingly for tasks like client communication. And I believe that very strongly. I mean, initially when I read the book, I was a little concerned that, he was trying to get us to move away from email and just rely on face-to-face communication. But the more I read into the book, the more I realized what he was saying is really what I found has worked for me in the process of email. I get a lot of emails, more when I had a 9 to 5 job. But like you, even the simple emails I get sometimes, scream for my attention. And this book kind of reinforces in my mind the fact that email should be a tool that works for us, not be a distraction. So the title is a little bit of a clickbaity title, but I think the advice that Cal Newport gives in his book, A World Without Email, can be very, very helpful. So the book is called A World Without Email by Cal Newport. Look for it.